From parental accountability to parole reform, PM unveils 2026 legislative agenda. The government's 2026 legislative agenda includes a proposed law to hold parents legally accountable for their children's involvement in bullying, violence, and related misconduct, especially in schools. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar stated last week, on presenting the government's legislative agenda in Parliament for 2026, that it is part of the broader policy of this government to address rising concerns about school violence, gang influence, and the lack of effective deterrence. Parents must be more engaged in their children's behavior, especially when schools alone cannot manage escalating violence. The threat of legal consequences may push parents to intervene earlier in cases of bullying. Under this bill, parents could face fines or penalties if their child is repeatedly involved in bullying or violent acts. Proposed laws also seek to establish a parole system, expand the criteria for firearm users' license (FUL) applications, facilitate equal opportunities for disabled people in the labor market, and strengthen various areas of the minimum wage law. The Prime Minister initially detailed measures, including improving the work of the judiciary as well as for a Chancellor of the Judiciary, a law on the destruction of seized obsolete surrendered arms and ammunition, a law to regulate the private security industry, financial and bail law to comply with international recommendations, Tobago autonomy law, implementation of the CARICOM arrest warrant, tweaking the fireworks bill, the law on noise pollution, and others to increase the age limit to use marijuana and alcohol and for gambling. She also spoke about the Special Zones Bill and the Tobago House of Assembly Amendment Bill, which the House of Representatives passed last Friday. Her address, which was later circulated to the media by her ministry, listed more bills to be presented in 2026. Some were in the works since 2025. Among these was the Parental Responsibility Bill, 2025. Also listed is the Minimum Wages Act Chapter 88:04 for the setting of the minimum wage and terms and conditions of employment. Various areas have been identified for the strengthening of this act, the speech stated. The Persons with Disabilities Bill, 2024, will seek to promote and protect the human rights and dignity of people with disabilities by ensuring they have access to the physical environment, transformation, information, communication, education at all levels, and health services and programs. The bill would promote the right of persons with disabilities to work, thereby ensuring equal opportunities for them in the labor market. It would also encourage the participation of persons with disabilities in political and public life. The speech stated. The Parole Bill, 2026, is proposed to provide the legal framework through which people who are convicted and sentenced to a term of imprisonment of 10+ years may be granted either partial or full parole. It will establish a parole board. The court, on sentencing a person to a term of 10+ years imprisonment, can make an order for parole eligibility. The parole board would be required to consider the suitability of the offender to be released on parole and make appropriate recommendations to order the release of the offender on parole. The Firearms Amendment Bill, 2025, will expand the criteria for persons who may qualify to apply for/be granted a firearm user's license, FUL, while also imposing stricter requirements, including competence certificates and appropriate psychometric testing, to manage the large number of applications. Also listed is a Fisheries Management Bill, 2025, regulating fishing and related activities in TNT's waters and areas beyond TNT's jurisdiction. No word on Private Pensions Tax Exemption Bill. Meanwhile, pensioners have been expressing concern about the proposed Private Pensions Bill. The Finance Minister's 2026 budget stated private pensions would be tax-free from January 1st, but no law has been passed for this.